let's take a look at our top selections for Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Aqueduct on Sunday is the $100,000 Rego Park Stakes. Let's take a look at this field for race number 8. New York-bred 3-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs. And Mike, Todd Pletcher has 3. Michael Maker has 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you get these days in stakes races. A few trainers sort of dominate these races. They both have 3, Dan, and they have basically all the major contenders in the race.
And they also perhaps have the speed horses as we take a look at the time form US pace projector. Storm Shooter, one of the Pletcher train runners, blinkers on. He's expected to make the lead. Maker's looking for trouble, who's been a speed horse since day one. He's going to be up close. This pace could be pretty fast for 6.5.
It could. Storm Shooter is going to show speed again, I guess. He did show speed in his most recent start. Brief speed anyway before he backed out of there. But, looking for trouble is going to be forward in here. Bluegator, who could be the favorite in this race. He has speed and won't be far away. So you're right. This pace could actually get pretty fast.
And that would help the number 1 Helper, who returned off a little bit of a layoff in an off-the-turf race on a muddy track. And boy, he came with a strong kick. He got a fast pace. Let's watch Halpert's second lifetime start for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt. He is down on the inside. That is sometimes an intimidating place for a 2-year-old. He has a lot of work to do, and he somehow gets up to win by a nose, albeit with a low and light buyer.
Yeah, this race is going to come back to him a little bit. The pace was contested, and the horse on the lead's very tired right now. This horse still did some good things in this race, Dan. It's just worth pointing out that in his debut, where they went long on turf with him, he was close to a very fast pace that totally collapsed in that race. He did not run poorly at all. And in that race right there, yes, he saved all the ground. Yes, he did get clear from about the 3/16 pole, but he was caught behind a horse that was stopping in his face all the way around the turn and had to wait to get clear. And then he came with that run. He actually ran pretty well last time, slow race or not.
Now the runner-up came back to run second again, albeit for a $40,000 stake-bred maiden claimer with a 52 buyer. This horse has a lot of upside potential. He just needs to continue to improve. New York 1 is the number 2. This is a horse that's won twice at Mountaineer Park. They tested him last time out, Mike, in the New York Stallion Series, and he just didn't pass it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take out of that race, Dan. He chased the pace, never looked like he was going to be able to keep up, and was well beaten at the end.
Lao Ban has been a revelation as a first crop sire. He's done very, very well. And here's another debut winner for Lao Ban in the number 3, Uno, for trainer Todd Pletcher. This horse didn't break very well, got up on the outside, and as they turn into the stretch, Uno, who had to be urged with the whip about 5/16 from a mile from home, has now taken over the lead, and he's going about his business. He earned a very respectable 76 buyer speed figure for this run. Now, he was entered back and scratched because of a foot problem. Now I'll have to deal with fast going on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. Based off of this race, he does look like one of the major contenders in here. He just did a lot of good things in there. You mentioned he didn't break that sharply. He was wide every step of the way. He worked pretty hard just to keep up. And then he won pretty easily at the end. And I don't think he beat the greatest field in the world, but I just thought he did a lot of good things there. The most interesting thing about his debut is for a horse who worked the bull at 9-4 at OBS, they paid $255,000 for him. He debuted for Pletcher by a hot sire, and he was third choice in that race.
Bluegator is the number 4, and this is a horse who's one of the more accomplished runners in this field, a stakes winner at Finger Lakes over Sloppy Going. He ran well against a good horse last time out in the Notebook. Let's watch that effort going 3/4 of a mile. He was wide on the backstretch. He's the gray horse. He's in between right now. He did a lot of work around the turn and to about the 3/16 pole, and Eagle Orb is just better than he is, and Eagle Orb kind of flattered this form by coming back and running second in the Jerome with a 73 buyer. Bluegator would be no surprise in this spot.
No, I mean, in a lot of ways, he's the kind of horse that you could make a strong case that he should be favored in here. He won his debut pretty easily over Storm Shooter, who was 3-5 for Pletcher that day. He came back. He won the New York Breeders' Futurity, albeit over a favorite who had a real trouble in that race, but he still won with a 74, and he ran fine last time. This horse makes a lot of sense in here.
Windy Nations added blinkers for the first time last time out for Maker in the New York Stallion Series at a huge price. He was very, very wide on the backstretch all the way through the turn, and he stayed on okay. He was a little bit late to change leads. He's a little bit green, but to me, he just looks like the pace-dependent type. At 6.5, he's going to need a lot of pace and maybe a little racing luck, but he's slowly getting better.
Yeah, and he might get a little pace to run out here, too. I won't be surprised if they go fast in front of him. I agree with you that I think he'll need that. I can't say that I love, any of his races. He ran fine last time, but, that race set up very well for him. The pace was pretty contested in there. He had a look at it through the stretch, and he wasn't quite good enough. I think he's got to improve again.
Storm Shooter's lone victory came 2 starts back off the turf race, sloppy track, a race in which he was able to get to the early lead. Now, he got to the early lead last time out in the notebook. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether he just was very uncomfortable down towards the inside because he just stopped running real quick. No surprise the blinkers come on for Pletcher.
Yeah, I agree. It is no surprise the blinkers are on. We'll see if it makes a difference, Dan. This horse, I know he's 1 for 3. They've really bet him in a couple of his races. To me, he hasn't run well in any of his races yet. We'll see if the blinkers make a difference.
Looking for Trouble, the number 7, just to me has the looks of one of those early 2-year-olds that might have been a little bit more mature and professional than his contemporaries over the summer. And I wonder if they're starting to catch up to him physically. He's already multiple stakes placed, but in the notebook, he was up close to the pace, and Bluegator was just better than him. He was one of several horses, however, that broke through the gate prior to the start in the notebook, and maybe that took some of the starch out of him. He's now going turf to dirt, trying to wake up, and he should be in contention when they turn for home.
I mean, he should be. They actually asked a lot of this horse in the second half of 2020. They ran him a lot from July right through to December. They just kept putting him back in the races. And I thought all in all, he acquitted himself pretty well. He's got speed from the outside. There's a lot of other pace in this race, and that doesn't help his chances. But he just feels like the kind of horse who could be a good price. He's not really in over his head, I don't think. And Maker, I know he wins a lot of turf races, Dan. He has great numbers going turf to dirt with sprinters.
The key to this race is Perfect Munnings, isn't he? The number 8, who won his debut for Pletcher on turf, going 3/4 of a mile. Let's watch that race right now. And it's not like he has this tremendous turf pedigree. He's by Munnings out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. And I like the moxie he showed. He's going to bull his way outside late, and he's going to get up with a respectable 76 buyer speed figure. They're taking a shot running him on dirt. It's not like he's facing a bunch of killers.
Yeah, agreed. And he actually had a little bit of early speed in this race too, Dan. He was forward away before some other horses went, so he just sort of dropped over behind them and got a really good trip, I thought. And I liked the way that he won that race at the end. And it's also worth noting he debuted on turf. They had this horse entered to sprint on dirt in his career debut. He was scratched going to the gate at 7-2, and then he missed a lot of, that was like way back over the summer at Belmont. So he missed a lot of time after that. He came back with a pretty good effort on the turf.
Good field of New York breds in the Rego Park. We take a look at our top picks in here. We're going to land on the same top pick. That's the number 3, Uno. I just like the way he got away from that field at the end of that race. Again, the speed wasn't there out of the gate, but he did work on the backstretch into the turn, collared that horse, kept on going. We go 3-4, Uno and Bluegator. I think they're the 2 horses to beat on paper.
Me too. I mean, we kind of look at it the same way. I don't know. I just liked Uno's debut, Dan. Listen, I'm not going to argue with anybody who wants to take a shot against him if he winds up being the favorite in here, because I think there are other ways to go. I just like this horse's debut, and I'll stick with him.
3, 4, 7, and 1 for Mike. I'll try to get Windy Nations into the try, thinking this pace might be pretty quick and it could collapse and set up for him at a price. 3, 4, 5, 7 for me. The Rego Park race 8 at Aqueduct on Sunday has an approximate post time of 3:50 Eastern. Best of luck.